It's our 9-week review. To determine if something's a function, for each input there can be exactly one output. If any single input goes to more than one place, then it's not a function. So here, 3 only goes to -1. 0 only goes to 0. -3 only goes to 0. -6 only goes to 2. So this is a function. It's okay for y values to repeat. It's not okay for x values to repeat. So when we look at set of ordered pairs for number 2, we've got 5 going to 4. 5 also goes to -7. So that makes it not a function. Here we're trying to pick out the function. For our graph, if we do the vertical line test, then we'll see that this is not a function. Here we've got 1 going to 5, 1 also goes to 7, so that's not a function. 7 goes to 6, 7 goes to 10, so that's not a function. But then when we look at this one, any single vertical line will only hit it in at most one place, so that is a function. So choice D is a function. That's the one we're looking for. It passes the vertical line test. To get rid of the parentheses here, we'll distribute 4 times x is 4x, 4 times 5 is 20. They're not like terms, you can't combine them. Distribute your 3. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times -8 is -24. They're not like terms, you can't combine them. Solving these one-step equations on 6 and 7. To get rid of -9, add 9. And so x is 16. To get rid of multiplying by a -5, divide both sides by a -5. And so we get x equal to -6. These are two-step equations. We're still solving. To get rid of -4, add 4 to each side. So we have 2x equals 16. To get rid of multiplying by 2, divide both sides by 2. And so x is 8. To get rid of -4, add 4. 1 plus 4 gives us 5. To get rid of division by 7, we'll multiply by 7 on each side. So x equals 35. You can plug these back in to check them to see if they work. On these, we'll use the slope formula. So label your points x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Then we're plugging into the slope formula. On top we'll have 10 minus 1. On the bottom 6 minus 3. So we have 9 divided by 3, which gives us a slope of 3. Label your points. Substitute into the slope formula. Y sub 2, that's -3, minus y sub 1, which is 1. On the bottom we'll have x minus, or 8 minus 8. So we have -4 on top when we do -3 minus 1. On the bottom, 8 minus 8 is 0. Division by 0 is undefined. Sometimes you'll see this as no slope. If you put it in your calculator, it's going to say some type of an error. To find the slope, when you're looking at a graph, slope equals rise over run. Rise is the vertical change, run is the horizontal change. So if we start here, we go down 1. So a rise of -1. We go to the right 1, 2, 3. So our slope here is -1/3. Notice from left to right it's going downhill. That matches with a negative slope. Average rate of change here, we're looking at this point and this one because it says 2000 to 2010. So we'll name those points and use our slope formula. So we'll label our points x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Substituting into the slope formula, we have 4,524 minus 3,728 And then on the bottom, 2010 minus 2000. Subtract on top, subtract on the bottom. And then 796 divided by 10 gives us 79.6. Our units here, it's people, or population, per year. Average rate of change, same thing as slope. Here we're writing inequality. We're shading to the right, and it's colored in at the -3. So we'll have x is greater than or equal to -3. Now you can use any variable you want there. Here we're solving inequalities. To get rid of multiplying by a -3, we'll divide both sides by -3. One of the things that you have to remember when you're solving inequalities is if you divide both sides by a negative, or if you multiply both sides by a negative, you have to reverse the inequality symbol. So on this one, we should have x is greater than -8. Number 16, to get rid of +3, subtract 3. 13 minus 3 gives us 10 on the right side. To get rid of multiplying by 2, divide both sides by 2. This time we're dividing by a positive, so we don't have to change the inequality symbol. All right, we're writing an equation in point-slope form. We'll label our point, x sub 1, y sub 1, and then we're substituting into this formula, y minus y sub 1, in this case -1, equals m, which is 3, times x minus, from the formula, x sub 1 is 7. We're leaving it in point-slope form, so we don't have to get rid of our parentheses, but we do want to clean it up a little bit. If we see minus a negative, we'll rewrite it as plus a positive. Here we're changing forms. These are in point slope. We want to write them in slope intercept. So we've got to do two things. We've got to get rid of our parentheses by distributing. -5 times x, -5x. -5 times -7 is positive 35. And then we also need to get y by itself. To get rid of +3, subtract 3 from each side. So we have y equals -5x plus 32. Again, to get rid of our parentheses, we'll distribute. 1/4 times x is 1/4 x. 1/4 of -8 is -2. To get rid of that +1, we'll subtract 1. Now it's in slope-intercept form. Y equals 1/4 x. -2 minus 1 is -3. So we can see that our slope is 1/4, our y-intercept is -3. For this system of equations, they don't intersect at all, so that's no solution. Yes, 21, to graph this line, we need to think about our slope and our y-intercept. These are in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So our slope on the first one is 3. We'll write that as a fraction, 3/1, and our y-intercept is -2. So plot a point at -2 on the y-axis, then go up 3 to the right 1. 2, 3 to the right 1, and we'll put a point. We can do that one more time. Go up 3 to the right 1, put a point. And now we'll draw the line through those. All right, for the next one, we have a slope of -3/1, y-intercept of 2, plot a point at 2, and then go down 3 to the right 1. Now we'll connect those. For 23, we only see y, so we're going to look for -3 on the y-axis, and then we'll draw that horizontal line. Y equal to a number is always horizontal, x equal to a number is always vertical. So on 24, x is -3. Find -3 on the x-axis, and then draw the vertical line that goes through that point. We're solving a system of two linear equations, so we need to list our slope and our y-intercept for each. So for the first one, our y-intercept's 2, and then we'll go down 1 to the right 3. You could also go up 1 to the left 3, and then we'll connect those. For the next one, our slope is -2, -2/1, since we're graphing, and our y-intercept's -3. So put a point at -3 and then go down 2 to the right 1. We're a little off the grid when we do that, but we can go up 2 to the left 1. And so hopefully you see the point that they have in common, which is -3, 3. So that's our solution. These are intersecting lines that have one solution. 26, we're solving by substitution. So y equals 3x plus 3, so we're going to replace y in the second equation with 3x plus 3. So we have 4x minus 2. And then instead of y, we're putting 3x plus 3. Notice that this new equation only has x's, so we can solve this for x. Distribute to get rid of the parentheses. Make sure you bring the negative with the 2. Get -6x minus 6. Combine those like terms. We get -2x minus 6 equals -2. To get rid of the -6, we'll add 6 to each side. And so we have -2x equal to 4. Divide both sides by -2. And so x is -2. Now we'll plug this back into that first equation. So we have y equals 3, and then instead of x, we'll put -2. Multiply, you get -6. Add, you get -3. Put it together as an ordered pair, x, then y. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you can do all these problems, you'll have no problem on the 9 weeks test.